Welcome back, Geometry, and please try this warm-up. Pause, come back, and check your work. And you'll need to pause the video and check your answers over. Okay, today the objective is to prove and use properties of triangle midsegments. So, a midsegment, a midsegment of a triangle is a segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. Every triangle then has three mid-segments, right? You can see them here, which form the mid-segment triangle. So this red triangle is the mid-segment triangle made up of the mid-segments of the triangle. So we have mid-segments XY, YZ, and ZX. And we have triangle XYZ, which is the mid-segment triangle. Okay, if you could pause the video and plot this triangle with the given coordinates on a coordinate plane. And come on back. Okay, and if you're back, then M and N are the midpoints of segment XZ, that would be M, and segment YZ, that would be N. We're to show that MN is parallel to XY. Also, MN is half of XY. So, in order to do that with the triangle that you have drawn, you would want to find the coordinates of M and N. And of course, they are the midpoints, right? So if we use segment XZ, we can locate the midpoint M by using our midpoint formula. So it's at 1, 2. And then we could find the midpoint of YZ, which they've labeled N, right, by using our midpoint formula there. And here we have it. Okay, so if you plot those, we can compare the slopes of MN and of XY. And notice that when you do, just use your points, right, and stick them in the slope formula here, and we have the same slope. MN and XY have the same slope. Since the slopes are the same, they are parallel. We can compare the heights of MN and XY using our distance formula, and we see, that MN is square root of 34, and XY on the triangle side there is 2 times square root of 34. So, MN is half of XY, right? And this brings us to our triangle midsegment theorem. A midsegment of a triangle is length to a side of the triangle, and its length is the length of that side. So look at that. The midsegment is parallel to a side of the triangle, and the midsegment's length is half the length of that side. Very cool theorem, the triangle midsegment theorem. So let's see if we can apply this. Find the measure of BD. Okay, BD, is that a midsegment? These little hash marks show us that we have a midsegment at B, right? A midpoint at B for AC, and a midpoint at D for side CE. So yes, BD is a midsegment. So therefore it is parallel to AE, isn't it? By the midsegment theorem, the triangle midsegment theorem, and also it is half of AE, right? And so we can say that BD is half of AE with our triangle midsegment theorem. And do we know AE? Yes, we do. We can substitute 17 for AE, and now we can simply multiply, and BD is 8.5. Very good. Find each measure, the measurement of angle CBD. CBD. What will we do? Well, we know that BD again, is a midsegment, isn't it? Because we see that B is a midpoint of AC, D is a midpoint of CE. So this is a midsegment. So we know it's parallel to AE, don't we? We know it's definitely parallel, which will help us in determining, could help us in determining angles, couldn't it? We're trying to find the angle of CBD. CBD. So we can say that DF is parallel to CA, and we can say that by the triangle midsegment theorem. And this would be because DF is also a midsegment, isn't it? DF, those two endpoints are at midpoints, so it would be parallel to CA. Okay, so what can we say next? We can say that the measure of CBD equals a measure of BDF. And that's because if we look at these parallel lines, we have this transversal BD, right? And so we would have alternate interior angles there. Okay, and we actually know BDF is 26 degrees. We can substitute that in. And so we know that the angle measure of CBD is also 26 degrees. Okay, see if you can find the measure of JL. Okay, so there's a lot of information provided. We're trying to find JL. So JL is a side of the large triangle. Is there a midsegment associated with this side that would be parallel? So the question is PN a midsegment of the triangle? Well, P is a midpoint of JK, right? N is a midpoint of LK. So PN is a midsegment, which is half as long as the side it is parallel to, JL, right? So JL must be 2 times 36. So we can say PN is half of JL by our triangle midsegment theorem. And we can now substitute, right, 36 for PN and multiply both sides by 2. And this is simply substitution and multiplication. And we simplify and say that JL is 72. Good job. And pause the video and see if you can find the answer. The measure of MLK. Measure of MLK. Well, we can say that MP is parallel to LK. And once again, we have the triangle midsegment theorem, right? And so we can say that the measure of angle MLK equals the measure of JMP, right? And these two angles then are, we have similar triangles. Oh, yes we do. Okay, so look at our dashes here. And we have similar triangles. You know, I would also, I would prefer to say that because we know that these are parallel, MP and LK, we have this transversal. And so this angle, JMP, is equal to angle MLK, right? Corresponding angles. So I think we could say that as well. And now we can just substitute the known value here, 102 for MLK, and we know that the measure, that angle is 102. Okay, and an A-frame support, the distance PQ is 46 inches. So what is the length of ST if S and T are at midpoints of the sides? And see, can you tell me that in the next 5 seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2. So the measure of ST must be half, right? Half of 46, which is 23. We can prove it by saying that ST is half of PQ, based on our triangle midsegment theorem, right? And do we know the length of PQ? Yes, we do. it is 46, so we can substitute. And then we can simplify, and half of 46 is 23. Good job. Try the quiz, pause, come back, and I will reveal the answers for you. ED is 10, AB is 14, and that angle measure is 44 degrees. Okay, and please pause this. Do your best work. Come on back and check it. Okay, finding the value here. This is a more fun situation, right? We're trying to find the value of n, and remember that this mid-segment is half of this side that it is parallel to, right? So we would have to multiply this by 2 to equal that. 3n plus 12 equals 2 times n plus 14. And n, they say, is 16. And triangle XYZ, the mid-segment triangle, is the mid-segment triangle of triangle WUB. I'm sorry, XYZ is the mid-segment triangle of the larger one. What is the perimeter of XYZ? Given that information, and you should have 11.5. Okay, there you go. Have fun. Do a good job. Do your best work.